Hello, good morning. It is Tuesday, August 24th, 9:08 in the morning. I'm so glad that you could be here. Listen, yesterday's episode was a good one. I encourage you to go back and listen to it. Although I stumble on my words a lot, it was Monday. I'm not sure if I got across everything I wanted to talk about yesterday. Today, I want to talk a little bit about. I want to continue talking about whether the FDA approval for this vaccine is worth anything. Okay. Yesterday, I think I was the first one to talk about it on social media, like actually talk about it. I didn't watch any news articles. I read something the night before, but I mean, not to brag or anything, but I was the first to report. Just kidding. I will never try to be the first to report something. I'll always try to report something that is accurate. I'd rather be right than first, or not even about being right, about accurately, about gathering all the data and be able to accurately talk about my opinion or my view on something. I'm not going to just talk about something first just to be talking about it. Which is why, for several things, y'all have asked me, why aren't you talking about this? And it's like, I haven't got all the data yet. I haven't got all my facts straight in order to accurately come up with my own opinion that isn't based unbiased. So, that being said, welcome to the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good day, good afternoon. Listen, if you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button on whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure you comment, share, do whatever you got to do to get the podcast out to people. If you're listening via Spotify or Google Podcast or Apple or whatever, make sure you come catch the show when we're live. That's the whole point of the show. This is a live show, meaning you can in real time be a part of the conversation. I'm realizing how dusty my desk is right now, and I absolutely hate it. It's a never-ending battle where I live. Just constantly dusty. Anyways, I'm so glad you could be here. The Pfizer vaccine got approved for people 16 and older, for the FDA, FDA approval for ages 16 and older. What does that mean? Well, it gives politicians an excuse to, or officials, I should say, an excuse to be able to push more mandates. But I'm not sure when FDA approval meant that that means all side effects go away. The side effects that we have seen from the vaccine still stand. Okay. I talked a little bit about yesterday. There's people have issues with, healthy people, mind you, with no prior health conditions, have issues with enlarged heart, not enlarged heart, or swelling of the heart or something like that, where their heart isn't quite the same size. And as well as I have heard and read other stories of something about the heart wall. I don't know exactly what that is, but that doesn't sound good. I know people who have had other, I wouldn't say serious side effects, but they're lingering side effects from the vaccine, where they have lingering aches and pain, specifically in the neck. I guess neck stiffness is a very known side effect. And if you didn't know, listen, what I don't like is this whole, it's a cure-all. I don't like that there is some biased data like telling out there. It's sort of like with the whole marijuana thing, right? Look, I want you to be able to smoke weed. I don't think that the government should be able to tell you that you can't smoke weed in your own house. I don't think people should be going to jail for nonviolent drug offenses. Therefore, I think we should be legal. I don't personally smoke weed. I don't even drink. And I probably will never smoke weed, but I think you should be able to. But don't try to tell me that weed can cure everything. Weed has side effects. That's bad for you. Inhaling smoke is not good for you. It's just not. And nothing I have ever seen or read says that inhaling smoke into your lungs is good for you. Can it help you go to sleep? Sure. Can it help maybe even temporarily curb anxiety, sure, but you're gonna still deal with anxiety. Something like marijuana is just a band-aid. That's all it is. So with the vaccine, don't tell me it's the end-all be-all to getting over COVID as a society. We all know that the vaccine hasn't been working, otherwise cases would be going down. People who have people who are vaccinated can still spread COVID. The CDC said that. I had a post that got completely deleted off Facebook, even though it was a mainstream news article that I screenshotted and it was underlined, and I posted it, talking about how the vaccine, people can still get sick from the vaccine, and people vaccinated can spread it. Listen, just because, I'm going to reiterate this, the vaccine received FDA approval does not mean it's 100% safe for everybody. Let's do this. This is what we're going to do. Right now, I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to go to Google specifically. I'm going to type in drugs that are FDA approved. Okay. Let's go with dangerous. Let's type in dangerous drugs. Okay, so we have, okay, this is actually perfect. These are drugs that were once approved by the FDA, but then have been recalled. I'm gonna go look. I'm not gonna read all of these. I do know of some of these. So like it shows right here like the time on the market. Here, let me show my screen. Time on the market shows 2000. Like for example, this Bextra or Valdexicub. From 2001 2005, that's only 4 years, but this one was on the market for almost 30 years. Hemolone, or Stylert. I don't know what that is. It's essential nervous stimulant that was used to treat ADD and ADHD. In 1999, the FDA added a boxed warning due to the drug's potential to cause liver damage, which was later followed by a recall. Okay. Notice how there's years that go by where it's FDA approved and then they take it off. It's not like it was approved for like a year and then they take it off. Okay. Let's go. I'm trying to do more recent ones. I'm not trying to do ones that were done in like the 70s or 80s. But that one was approved in 75 and was taken off in 2010. The one that was recalled due to liver damage. I'm assuming they also gave that to kids because a lot of kids are treated with ADD and ADHD medication. Let's go with this one that was on the market from 2001 2005. Bextra. Or they call it Valdesic. I don't know how to say this. It's spelled Valdecoxib. It is a NSAID, so non-steroid anti-inflammatory, that the FDA later determined worked no better than any other NSAID pain medications on the market. The drug was recalled for adverse heart effects including death, heart attack, and stroke, as well as increased risk for serious skin reactions such as epidermal nercolysis. I sound like an idiot right now trying to read these big medical words. And Stevens-Johnson syndrome. To boot, the drug had potential to cause gastrointestinal bleeding. So all those side effects, which directly affect the heart, death, stroke, it seems like pretty much everything in your organs, it seems like, when I continue to read the list. This drug was approved by the FDA and was later recalled for serious side effects. Okay, these are just a couple examples. I know this is probably like the worst case scenario. I'm not trying to scare anybody that's gotten the vaccine. I'm just trying to explain that just because some company who has a financial incentive, by the way, to approve a vaccine, just because it's approved by the FDA does not mean that it is like 100% safe. There is no drug out there that is 100% safe for anybody. I want to be clear that um, that you still should be able to have options. That just because this company, in a span of, I don't know, less than a year, somehow has managed to gather all the data it needs to determine whether a drug is long-term safe for you. Just because this company says that it's safe for you doesn't mean, and safe is a relative term. The risk of somebody in my category, my age category, I have no prior health conditions. I'm 25 years old. I turned 26 on Friday. I'm 25 years old. I have no prior health conditions. I'm in very good shape. I take my vitamins. I eat right. The risk of me dying from COVID or even getting hospitalized from COVID is literally less than less than 0.5% or something stupid low like that. Okay? But the risk of me taking a vaccine is much higher. I'm guaranteed side effects of taking a vaccine. Guaranteed side effects of taking a vaccine. I'm not even guaranteed to show symptoms even if I test positive with COVID. We've seen that. We had dudes on the football team tested positive for COVID. We get COVID tested 3 times a week. Tested positive for COVID, and they feel 100% okay. Not saying that they won't feel sick tomorrow. I'm just saying that I know several people who have tested positive for COVID, not even sick. Hey, welcome to the show. Got a new follower on Twitch. Sampling Reflexes. Sampling Reflex. Pretty cool name. I get fascinated by the names that people come up with on Twitch. Also on Call of Duty. You know, gamer tags on the internet. Some people come up with pretty creative names, especially in that game Escape from Tarkov. Some people's names, like when I die and I see you've been killed by so and so, I laugh sometimes. I can't think of any on top of my head. It says, oh, you asked, oh, you're a vet. That's awesome. What animals do you specialize in treating? No, I'm a military veteran, not an actual animal vet. Although I do love animals, and I have. Side note: somebody in Twitch asked, "Are you a vet?" As in an animal vet, and what animals do I specialize in treating? I am not a vet. I am a vet. I am not a veterinarian. I am a military veteran. I don't. That's kind of funny that someone asked me that, but I have performed lots of surgery on fish. I had an aquarium hobby that got way too out of hand, and I had tons of fish, and I've treated several fish, some by minor surgeries. I also have dealt with animals like my whole life, between farm animals. I have a dog. I had a cat. So I do love animals. It has not, it has come across my mind to become a veterinarian, although crooked veterinarians in California make me rethink that. Listen, the vets in California are way different than vets in Texas. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. At least in Orange County, the vets I've gone to a couple of different vets, but I've been going to the same one for a while because I like what the doctor says. The vet specifically, the specific doctor I go to, I like what he says most of the time about treating. He gives me options. First off, vets here are super expensive in California. Second off, they will nickel and dime you for absolutely everything, and they want they want you to do tests for everything. They want you to do every little look, when I was just went in for an ear infection, I had to pay for the exam even though I know he had an ear infection. They wanted me to pay for 2 different kind of drops plus a steroid just because the ear seemed a little inflamed. I was like, no, just give me the medicated drops and the ear flush. Now, I'm not going to give my dog a steroid and a shot and do a test. And they were like, yeah, we understand. In Texas, you show up with a dog that has a broken leg. They're like, yeah, we could wrap it. If you don't want to pay for surgery, you can move on or you can put it down. It'll probably be happy to laugh with a broken leg. And I think vet practice should be somewhere between. I get some people love their animals like they're part of the family, but at some point, humans come first. Sampling Reflex from Twitch. LML, just joking around. My other favorite vet joke is the veteran tag means you're playing the game on the hardest difficulty, right? I do play all my video games on the hardest difficulty. Just a fun fact. Like Call of Duty, every time I play it, I do play on veteran game mode. At that point, I just let my pet die. Yeah, there is a point of when, if you can afford it, do the surgeries, do the whatever, but you have to have your family come first, like humans in your family come first. Granted, at this point, my dog has worked himself. I mean, he turns a year old at the end of the week on September 1st. If something dramatic happened to him, my wife, it would be crucial for the family not losing their mind to do pretty much anything to keep him healthy. Also, he's an athletic dog, so if he does have an injury, I have insurance. So he's a hunting dog, so he will need to be fixed and treated for injuries and such like that. But I mean, if you have a little lap dog and that dog has a knee problem, and that you got to pay $2,000 for surgery for a knee problem for a dog that sits in your lap, hey, if you can afford it, do it. But see, like, my dog actually does stuff, like, not only is he a buddy, like a really good buddy, but he's also a companion to the family, but he's also he's a hunting dog and he's being trained as such. I'm not going to call him a service dog because he's not, but he does provide services to the family, if you know what I mean. He is a pretty decent guard dog. We're working on understanding when someone's a threat and when they're not. He does have a little bit of an edge on him. So, if somebody comes in the house, I'm pretty confident that he has one time thought that somebody was breaking in, and he did when I wasn't home, and he did defend my wife. It was actually just our landlord coming in the house, and low-key kind of was trying to attack him, and then, which is a good thing. But he's like a sweet dog for the most part. Like, he's not like he's really good with kids and things like that. But yeah, at some point you gotta let your pet die. It's kind of hunting dogs. That's awesome. My masculine nature makes me think that a dog smaller than a large dog is useless. 9 times out of 10, you're 100% correct. If you have a dog that can be eaten by a bird, that dog is pretty pointless. Unless I have grown to understand the need for a quote-unquote therapy dog, although here in California, people, how can I put it, stretch or blur the lines of when a dog is actually like a service dog or a therapy dog and that kind of thing. But it's got to be trained and smart and not like those aggressive little freaking dogs that attack everybody that isn't their human. And literally, my in-laws have a dog. By the way, I love this little dog. It's a little dog. It was the runt of the litter. And he's a little firecracker, and he's actually pretty active. But if he's literally bred to be a lap dog, and if he's not in your lap, he literally starts to shake and vibrate. Like if you're sitting next to him and you keep pushing him off your lap, and he's trying to get in your lap, he'll literally just shake and vibrate. Like he's I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to be in your lap. So there's most of the time, you have a small dog that can be eaten by a bird. I'm sorry, your dog is useless. However, I understand the need for some people to have small dogs, especially if you have, I don't know, like PTSD or something, or there are small dogs that are trained like a service animal. I don't know what kind, but I do know because I have friends who have obviously veteran friends who have these dogs that are trained to spot when someone's gonna have a what is it called, like some sort of PTSD episode, and it sits in their lap and calms them down or whatever. And it has to be specifically like a lap dog. It can't be like a big dog. Like my dog, he's 65, pushing 70 pounds, and he thinks he's a lap dog sometimes, and he's way too big for that. Okay, so let's continue on with this this vaccine nonsense. Okay, it's not. So the thing is, this doesn't just apply to the whole thing about this is that the vaccine. I hate that I have to talk about this every day. Right now, this is the second day in a row we're talking about this specifically. I hate the fact that there is biased reporting and that there's just this like weird thing where they're trying to push something down your throat that isn't right for everybody. And what's weird is that if this was like 15 years ago, you would think that the Republican Party would be doing this. You would think that the Republicans would be like, everybody needs to take this vaccine. That really authoritarian type, you know, approach to things. And the leftists would be like, no, man, let's all like sit outside and smoke a joint, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm joking, but in reality is that in this situation, the roles have kind of flipped if you think about it. Although the Republicans are in, the right-wing people are in, you know, recent history portrayed that they're pro-small government, anti-big government. There has been points where, especially when you talk about like religious beliefs, that there has been that overstepping boundaries where the government can tell you what to do. For example, let's just go with the pro-choice type thing. That's just an example where the government can tell you whether you can or can't get an abortion or can or can't do drugs. Like that's a Republican stance, even though that is kind of an authoritative approach. If you think about it. And liberals are pro-choice and typically pro, at least for marijuana use, pro legalization of marijuana. Okay. So for some reason, these roles are a little flipped. Okay. I'm not really sure why that is. Some people say the roots are Trump, that Trump was in office when all this was happening. So people have these strong stances that are pro or anti-Trump, and Biden undid this and Trump did that and blah, blah, blah. Look, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're being lied to in the masses, and the data is being manipulated. You can't tell me the data isn't being manipulated, because it is being manipulated. The two most things that were watched in 2020 were your hands and your brain. Okay. I'm not saying that the government is purposely brainwashing us, but I am saying that the politicians who want the power grab is there's a power grab going on. And the liberals are doing the best job at taking advantage of this power grab. Sampling from Twitch said, Woodrow Wilson, sitting president during World War I, made it mandatory to get the Spanish flu vaccine for all soldiers. I don't know that to be 100% true, but if that's true, I'm just going to take your word for it. I'm going to say that it's true. I'm not going to Google it. Do I have the screen? See, there's a little bit of difference there. The military, I talked about go back and listen to the podcast yesterday. I talked about my experience with vaccines as a veteran, about, you know, the multitude of vaccines and medication they made us take on deployments prophylactically. And I didn't have a great experience. The difference is that, okay, two things. One, it's the military. You are literally a walking experiment in the military. Of course they gave Spanish flu vaccine to soldiers. Two, the Spanish flu was significantly more deadly than Corona. That's facts. That's facts. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the Spanish flu vaccine was probably a real vaccine. It probably had the dead virus in it. Let's Google this. Spanish flu vaccine, Spanish flu vaccine. Spanish flu genocide was really caused by vaccinations. Nice. I can't. It's hard to like keep the conversation going while I'm reading. I really need like another person. I really need a Jamie. You know, like on the Joe Rogan podcast. I really need a Jamie. I'm not seeing. All that's pulling up is stuff pandemic. It's not giving me at least off the top of the article, it's not saying anything about vaccine. Oh, here we go. This was a very short article. I was looking for when it talked about the development of the vaccine. Uh, I actually don't see anything in here where it talks about the. But wait, okay, was that after the pandemic was over though? Because if you it talks about the vaccine was introduced in 1919. We didn't. The war. When was the war over? It was. Type in World War I dates because I don't remember exactly when the United States entered the war. When did U.S. enter World War I? April 6, 1917. That's after the. So I guess we entered in. Hold on one second. Okay, so I can't find anything off the top, like just surface level. Maybe I can find something and we'll talk about tomorrow at the beginning of the podcast. Unless you can drop. Can I highlight something? If you drop a link sample, I can highlight it. If you drop a link, I can highlight it and copy and paste it. Okay, and then we'll go from there. Or just give me like something like a title of an article, or if I'll just take your word for it. So even if the flu the Spanish flu what is still a variant of the H1N1 A virus, which is essentially the regular flu. Okay, I believe that there's two different main strains of the flu, strain A and strain B, and when you get a flu shot, I'm pretty sure it's like strain B. I'm not 100% sure. It's like the swine flu is like kind of a variant of it's H1N1 virus. It's the swine flu is a variant of the Spanish flu, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so flu vaccines have been around for a long time. That's a different kind of deal. There's never been a vaccine. There's no cure for a virus. Okay, although the flu is a virus. What I mean is an upper respiratory, like the cold. Okay, there's never been a cure for the cold. There will never be a vaccine for the cold. The issue is they're making it mandatory to do basic human things. New York, you have to have a vaccine passport to do anything in public. I'm pretty sure in LA they're passing that. I don't live in LA. I don't live in LA County. I live in Orange County. And that stuff will not fly in Orange County. I'll tell you that right now. In Orange County, if they try to do all that, there will literally be an uproar. The LA County Sheriff already said they're not enforcing any more like lockdowns or anything. And I live in a town called San Clemente in Orange County where we don't have our own police department because our town's too small, so we only have the Orange County Sheriffs, and they are totally chill. And even during the lockdown, they were literally not enforcing anything, like the original lockdown. They were doing okay. I take that back. They were taking it pretty seriously for that first maybe month, where like people were getting ticketed for fishing at certain places, being out and about in certain places, and things like that. However, there came a point where they're like, okay, this is stupid. We're looking at the actual data, and there's no science to support that. One, we need to like close down absolutely everything, and that like outdoor dining is causing issues. Because there was a point in California where they tried to shut down outdoor dining, and I'm pretty sure they shut down outdoor dining of all kinds in LA County. But in Orange County, we were like, nah, fam, we're gonna keep doing our thing. And so all the restaurants moved out to the streets. There was no indoor dining, but all the restaurants literally moved out to the streets, and it was pretty much like the whole town was like walking space only pretty much, and you couldn't really drive and park in the middle of town. You could drive down the main strip, but you couldn't really park because all the restaurants moved out to the streets. Okay, so we had a little like sidetrack talking about my veterinarian experiences here in California, as well as trying to find out specifics of this Spanish flu vaccine. But the point is that just because the FDA approved a drug does not mean it's safe for everybody. I showed a list of just 10 drugs that were recalled by FDA. So at one point they approved a drug and they literally went back on their word and said, nah, fam, these aren't good anymore. Some of them lasted longer than others. We saw that one that lasted 20, was it like 35 years? So it was like 1975 to 2010. So what is that? 35 years, right? And then there was some that were only 4 years. There were some that were 5 years. There was some that was only 2 or 3 years. The ones we mainly talked about were ones that are more recent as far as time period. You know, there were some that were from like the 1980s to the 1990s. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt of being able to advance in medicine, you know, understanding research better. So I talked about ones that were just recalled in the late 2000s. But that shouldn't put a precedent on individual freedoms, right? Because there is no plus side to taking the vaccine right now. The CDC even came out and said, vaccinating, wear a mask. Why would that be? First off, masks don't work. It don't. Masks don't work. Show me data that shows masks work. And don't spray water through a mask. And be like, look, there's less water coming through the mask. Yeah, no shit. But I want you to show me how the mask stops a virus that we can't see because it's like pretty much like microscopic or whatever. You know, like when they study the coronavirus vaccine, they don't get a magnifying glass, they get a dead gum microscope. Okay? And I don't know if you grab a magnifying glass or even just like hold your mask up to the light, you can see through that thing. Unless it's an N95. You hold your mask up to light, get your little blue mask that you think is safe, or those little handmade masks you make at home and you try to sell on Etsy. Put it up to the light. You can see through it. Okay? You don't even need a magnifying glass to see that. Let alone a microscope. That coronavirus, they use a microscope to study it. Okay? That thing is getting through your little dainty masks. Masks don't work. That's facts. Okay? All right. On that note, if you're listening to this right now, you are amazing. You're not amazing because you listen to this. I'm thankful that you listen to this. I just believe that any listeners that I have are amazing individuals. Some of you need to hear this. You're going to conquer this week. Okay, hold on, last second comment. Sampling reflex. I swear I learned Spanish flu vaccines were mandatory for soldiers, but when I Google it, nothing shows up. I think a few keywords are overpowering the search right now. Yeah, see, I've never heard that the Spanish flu vaccines were mandatory for soldiers. The dates I see don't really line up, if you know what I mean. They did develop a vaccine over a couple of years, but it's basically just a flu vaccine. From what I gathered. Besides the point, that was for the military and it wasn't for every citizen in order to open up life. In order for you to travel and do basic human things. You know what I mean? And there might have been a power grab for political parties back then for this, but if so, it wasn't enough for it to be noted. I feel like we would have learned about it by now. Hey, Sampling, thanks for joining in the conversations. Look, this is new. Doing this for a couple weeks. We're still learning how to build this live show aspect of everything, okay? The whole point of this show is to be like how it was today and yesterday when people were chiming in conversations and keep the conversations going. I don't know what I'm going to talk about usually before I talk about it. Today, I hit the live button and I decided we're going to continue talking about the vaccine part 2. I literally did not know what I was going to talk about today. I almost didn't do an episode because I was busy with school. School started yesterday, blah, blah, blah. Y'all don't really care about my issues. Y'all just want to hear the content, okay? So make sure Sampling in Twitch said, I saw an article from his channel, you know, Ancient Aliens History Channel, and the article saying the Spanish flu wasn't real. Spanish flu was definitely real. I think the ridicule of the Spanish flu is that it wasn't any different than the regular flu as far as like what it is. It was just the origin of it, so the strand of it was different, and that the people that got exposed to it weren't used to that type of strand of the flu. Does that make sense? Whereas COVID is, from my understanding, something completely different because it was made in the lab. It's facts. Um, I saw, I can every time I hear somebody say ancient aliens, I think of that guy when he's like aliens, you know, and he has this like his hair's black and it's like all messed up. Aliens. Okay. All right. Continue on what I was saying. Hey, this is a live show. Okay, we're learning how to build this live audience, but I need y'all's help to build the live audience. So make sure you like, comment, share. This is how I want the show to be. People joining in the conversations, adding their 2 cents. You know, somebody like Sample bringing up the fact that the Spanish flu vaccine might have been mandatory for all soldiers. What up, Mike? Welcome to the Facebook chat in the last second. The show is really starting to like take hold here. I appreciate the likes flowing in on Facebook at the last second here as we're wrapping up the show. And if you're late listening to watching the show right now live, you can just rewind the video when it's done uploading, or you can check out the MP3 as it's uploaded to Spotify, Anchor, or whatever. I really appreciate you guys. Mike popping in the Twitch in the last second. Hey, oh, hi, oh, let's go. Listen, I don't really know. Listen, let me be real with you guys. I don't really know how to grow a Twitch audience. Before you go, thoughts on the Little League World Series? I haven't been able to watch it. I usually do watch it, but I've been so busy with football. Legit. What specifically my thoughts on the Little League World Series? Last talking point. Sampling. This was fun. Sampling. This is how the show is every single day. Well, Monday through Thursday usually is when I do the show, and then some every other Saturday. Saturdays are probably going to come to a stop because I'm going to have football games on Saturday because I play football for college, and college football is on Saturdays. Thoughts on the Little League World Series? What specifically do you mean? I used to watch the Little League World Series. I think it's cool for the kids to be able to experience something like that. They do seem to keep it light, the World Series, and I do like that they have pitch counts. Oh, people are betting on the Little League World Series? I mean, listen, I did not know that. I did not know that people were betting on the Little League World Series. That makes me a little sour of it. However, I think that if they're betting on it in Vegas, because in Vegas you bet on anything. It's not, so the Little League World Series isn't necessarily, yeah, it's just a baseball tournament for youth teams. It's not all like professional baseball players' kids. So the Little League World Series, for people who don't know, is basically like it's, what is it, 13 and under, 12 and under? Like it's basically the best 12 U teams or 13 U teams participating in a baseball tournament. It's youth, okay? So I did not know people were betting on it. I did not know you could bet on sports where kids were younger than a certain age. However, it's in Vegas. This is kind of a twofold thing. If it's in Vegas where the kids can't see it and kids can't participate in it and they don't really know that it's happening, I'll say go for it because this is America and people are going to bet on it anyways, like probably at the game with cash in front of the kids. You know what I'm saying? So if they're gonna do it, why not do it in Vegas where people can't see it, or online betting on your phone where kids can't see it. It's 10 to 12-year-olds. Yeah, so it's 12U is what that is. Or 13U rather. That's 13U. No, it's 12U. Depends on when they have the birthdays cutoffs. So I haven't been able to watch. I thought you were gonna ask me specifically. Okay, so here's the thing about the Little League World Series. I like that they have the pitch counts. I like how they have rules about what the pitchers can and can't do, which is really really necessary. There's a kid who pitched 100 innings, only given up 1 hit. See, that's amazing. See that? The thing is that on the flip side is I don't want something like this to get to kids' heads. because they are 12. They're 10, 11, 12 years old. Some of them are 9. Some of them are 13 because of the way that they have the age cutoff. Like the age cutoffs is by birthday. I don't want like I'm my worst fear is for some like if any sport, but specifically this, right? Because it's a big stage, it's on TV, national TV, mind you, and these kids think that basically they're gonna think they're the shit. Sometimes this doesn't happen for everybody, and then they don't work as hard. They don't have that edge, right? And they're 12, and then there's gonna be that 11-year-old. Okay, let's say that kid who pitched 100 innings and only given up one hit, he's gonna remember that and he might not have that edge. I'm not saying he's not. I don't know the kid. But the issue is, and this happens with football all the time, is like somebody who's really great in high school, they don't have to train as hard because they're the best. Then they go to the next level and they have that poor work ethic, or they rely too much on their athletic ability, or that quote unquote switch to be able to turn on. I see it all the time. We seen it. I play for a college football team right now, and there's a bunch of dudes who thought they had the switch, and then there's people like me, for example, who wasn't physically gifted necessarily as much as others in high school, but I had way more worth it. I had way harder work ethic than most kids, and it's paying off for me right now. My issue is that I hope that kid realizes that everybody's going to grow up. Some kids will develop at 15, 16 years old. Some kids won't even develop till 18, 19, 20 years old. Some of those kids are going to develop a skill. Some of those dudes that he's pitched against probably some of those dudes that he's pitching against might have only been playing baseball for 2 years, and they're relatively new to the sport. You loved watching it as a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I think it's a waste of TV airtime. See, the thing is that if it gets views, then that's one of those things where capitalism will receive all, right? Like the viewers and the audience, the fact that it's able to sell, right? Like for TV, if it gets views, that's selling. If it's able to sell, then the people are right. You know what I'm saying? It's like if it sells itself, like you don't really see that much advertisement for the Little League World Series compared to other sporting events, and it still gets a bunch of views. You have a major growth spurt to your junior. Yeah, I see. Like, I just grew steadily. I wasn't really a kid that had growth spurts. I was a dude that just grew averagely to my average height of 5'9", then I stopped. But look, the Little League World Series, it is what it is. It's one of those things where you appreciate it at certain ages, I think. I liked it when I was younger, like a young kid growing up, or like even when I was like 15, 16 years old. And then I might not appreciate it now, but when I'm an adult and I have a kid, you know, my son or my stepson or my daughter or whatever becomes that age, then I might appreciate it again because I'm more of an experienced parent. If that makes sense. So I don't know. I think it's one of those things that you love and you hate as time goes on. I part of it is, Mike, is that football hasn't started yet. You really think the Little League World Series is going to take precedence over Saturday at 1 o'clock? We're from 5'4" to 5'11" in one summer. Oh my God, that doesn't even seem healthy. Your bones probably hurt, Mike. Mike in Twitch said he went from 5'4" to 5'11" in one summer. But you really think that if OU and Michigan were playing this Saturday, you really think the Little League World Series would be on instead of that game? Not a shot. Not a shot. Even if it was University of Texas at El Paso versus Wyoming, guarantee you more people like that the Little League World Series isn't getting airtime over that game. That's facts. That's facts. So part of it, Mike, is that we're in that boring time of the season where like real football hasn't started yet. I know we're in preseason football, but I don't even watch preseason football unless there's like a rookie I really want to see, which my Cowboys don't have one. I saw enough of persons when I see clips from practice. I follow them on like social media, so I see clips from practice like every day. But that's just part of it. It's part of the time of the year. And I think that there's money to be made in the Little League World Series. not only with advertisement, but I guess with sports betting as well. And it just so happens it falls in the time of the year where there's no other sports on. Basketball's not happening. The Olympics are over. There's the Paralympics, but let's be honest, like, has anybody been watching the Paralympics? Hardly anybody watches the regular Olympics. It's in that worst time zone, like I explained before in the worst episodes, in Japan. We're not watching the Olympics because of political reasons. We're not watching the Olympics because we got to wake up at 1 a.m. to watch girls kick around a soccer ball at half speed for 90 minutes. Nobody's tuning in for that. I watched a replay of the AFC divisional playoffs from 2006 because I was bored and it was on the NFL Network. Yeah, see? Again, you're watching a playoff game from 2006 that you probably remember. I'm going to end with this. Go to YouTube. I'm a Texas fan. I'm born and raised in Texas. I'm the University of Texas fan. And the greatest college football game of all time was probably Texas versus USC. Type in on YouTube a football life. I'm gonna type. I think it's either gonna be 2006 Rose Bowl, or it's gonna say Texas versus USC. A football life. I'm gonna Google it for you. A football life, Texas versus USC, because it was a football life documentary they put onto YouTube. Just 2006 Rose Bowl, Texas versus USC featured on a football life. The whole video on YouTube, I want to say, is like 46 minutes. Just type in a football life, Texas versus USC. I'm going to find the video. Yep. The opening, like the thumbnail is of Matthew McConaughey. Look. Matthew McConaughey right here. Boom. This video. Y'all need to watch this video. A football life, the 2006 Rose Bowl. Watch it. You will not regret it. Do I remember RG3 versus Mariota in college? I remember that. Colts and Pittsburgh, Jerome Bettis' final year. I don't remember that, but I might go watch back the highlights. Okay, guys. I really appreciate you guys stopping in. This is, wow, the second time trying to end this show for today. So thanks for you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like button on the way on your way out. If you are listening right now on the Spotify or Google podcast, what's the other one that people listen to? Anchor. And there was another one I saw on the list of people who listen after the fact. Yeah, we got a small, those watching live right now, yes, we do have people who listen to the show afterwards. I don't know why they're not in the show. Yeah. Listen, if you're listening right now, everybody in the live show is wondering why you're not here right now. So make sure you go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and you follow. You don't have to follow on all three. Just follow whatever one you're going to watch on, okay? So, and if you're watching right now and you missed some of the show and you want to know what the heck we were talking about today, don't worry. The MP3 is going to be uploaded live onto, like I said, Anchor, which uploads it to Spotify, which uploads it to Google Podcasts and some other random podcast things I've never heard of. I appreciate you guys coming in the last second, but make sure you go back and listen to it. We had a good conversation today. We talked about vaccines. We talked about veterinarians. We talked about veterinarians and vets. We talked about Little League World Series. We talked about sports. So make sure you go back and listen. Mike, I see your comments, but we got to wrap up the show. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Let's talk about sports. Let's talk about greatest sports games tomorrow. How about that? Great sports games tomorrow. I might change my mind tomorrow. I don't write a script before the show. But hey, also, check this out. If you like the tracks you're hearing, if you like the beat that you're hearing, maybe you want to use it for your live show, maybe you want to use it for your video game streams, maybe you just actually want to work to it because it's kind of got that lo-fi vibe, make sure you check out Streamables on Spotify. A buddy of mine hires producers to make this music from the ground up to be copyright free, DMCA free, DMHA free, all free. I don't know how many letters I got to explain to you, but all of those letters before the word free, it's that. Okay? Make sure you check it out on Spotify. It will be on YouTube Studio soon, so you can actually embed it into your YouTube videos. Check out Streamables on Spotify. You can use it for whatever you want to use it for. You have permission, I promise. Okay. All right. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, catch y'all on the flippity flip. Peace. Hook 'em.